one review. Book one I'm gonna talk about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a global expert, speaker, best-selling author on networking and personal branding, no other than Miss Liron Glickman.
Hi, Daniel. Good morning. How are you? And thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Liron, and I'm fabulous. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. So, as you mentioned, I've been actually investigating and build my specialty on business relationship, what we all call networking and personal branding. And I've also worked with startups, and I help them on the other side of networking and personal branding. It's actually business development and marketing. These are all connected. So, I started 20 years ago. I moved by myself to Sydney, Australia, later on to New York in different time frames, and I realized later on that I was able to to achieve really high positions within a very short time. I found a job in New York City within 3 weeks in a PR firm, and within 2 months I got to work for the biggest corporate in Australia. And I'm not saying it because I'm something special, because later on I just realized that I did something that nobody teaches us. And I started investigating and realized that we all, or many of us, and I'm sure your readers as well, we want to achieve things right in life, and everything goes through people. So I decided to dedicate my life. It's been already over 12 years, to teach a methodology on networking. I taught it in 26 countries, how to achieve your goals and live a fulfilled life through authentic and strategic relationship building. And just in May 2025, I launched my book, The Super Connectors Playbook, which has all the practices and method that I've been teaching around the world. And I'm so happy to share it here with you and with your listeners.
Miss Liron Glickman, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And the Super Connectors Playbook, what inspired you to write this amazing and empowering best-selling book of yours?
Yeah, so basically the book has it goes over my six pillar method. It starts with I mean, I can tell you and I can teach you and everyone so much about networking, and I can tell you do this and do that and say this and say that. But you know what the main problem for people not building relationship for results?
No, can you enlighten us?
You c- so I can share so many practices and so many tools, but one of the biggest barriers would be the fear of rejection, the fear of what would people say. Maybe I will, say something stupid and so on. And that's why I actually dedicated the chapter number 2 of the book only about how to, first of all, overcome the fears, the natural fears. I want to normalize them and show that most of us have some anxiety or social anxiety. That's actually research proven that 90% of people have some kind of social anxiety. If it's one-on-one, if I'm speaking to an authority, if I talk to two people or 20. So, and we are biologically wired to connect with people. Our body brings out oxytocin and dopamine when we communicate with people on different levels. So, first of all, it was important for me to share a baseline and say that we were all born to create relationships. And the reason that people who get the book don't do it, it's probably because the fear. So once we took the fear out of the equation and we normalize it and people understand that they can do it, um, the method goes like this. It has 6 pillars, and guide me how you want to dive into them. The first one is goal, because this is a method to achieve our goal and live fulfilled life. And not all of us know what we want. Sometimes we have really vague goals. So it's not only about goal setting, it's more about soul setting. What does your soul want and what does practically do you need? So I cover personal and professional goals and how to understand what we want. Then it's about people plan. You know that we have business plan and marketing plan, but why no one has ever taught us how to do people plan? So it's about, first of all, understanding who are the people that we know. And newsflash, most of the people we know usually would be happy to help us. We just don't always ask them for that. And it's also about how to build a new network of people. So this is a very strategic part. So we have a goal, we have a people plan, Then we have a personal brand. Now, our brand exists online, offline. We already have a brand. Those who are aware of it know how to manage it and how to leverage it for results. And those who are not, then it's just, it's just a game. I mean, they don't know what the result would be. So I'm actually helping people to shape their brand in the right way, because when you approach someone, they would want to know, who are you, what do you bring to the table, why should I communicate with you, and so on. So we have goals, we have people plan, branding, and then it's connecting, breaking the ice and building a rapport and being memorable. Then it's maintaining relationship, and that's the working in the word networking. Nobody loves maintaining relationship, and that's where usually most people fail. And then it's how to leverage for results. It's how to basically use human communication to get people to willingly want to help you. So goal, people plan, personal brand, communication and connection, maintaining relationships, and finally how to leverage them for results. That's the method.
And thank you again for sharing that method to the world. How do you define a superconnector, and what fundamentally differentiates them from someone who just good networker? Miss LeBron, I think Miss LeBron is disconnected. So while waiting for her, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Fifth season, people. Fifth season, and my abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in its fifth season. And Miss Leron is back. Sorry
I'm
for
back.
that.
Okay, I
It's
apologize for the tech. We can't live with it. We
yes.
can't live without it sometimes.
Yes, we experience some glitch right now, but my question is, Miss Leron, how do you define a superconnector, and what fundamentally differentiates them from someone who's just a good networker?
So when I say super connector, usually people have other friends or people they know that come to mind. We usually define those super connectors as those who are basically they're leaders because they connect between people, information, opportunities they know in their domain. Maybe their domain is the car industry or the real estate industry, or maybe just social and your ecosystem or your neighborhood. But those people usually know everyone and know everything, and they're so happy to connect with people, to support others with their connections and the knowledge that basically comes to them. So super connectors are those people that anything they need, they know exactly who to call to, and they can solve anything they want within seconds. Connectors, usually there are different types of connectors, but the highest level is really those people who can achieve anything within seconds within their group of friends, I would say. But we don't have to be such people. If we know such a person, that's many times good enough, because you can call them and they would help you within their network. So I don't necessarily wish for everyone to become super connector, because I also don't think it makes sense. Not everyone was is designed to be a super connector, but we should all be connectors. And connectors meaning creating authentic relationship with people, really care about one another, really try to support one another, try to enjoy with one another. And usually, once we're interested in others, once we find what value we can bring to others, we become interesting for them, and they would also want to help us. So that's the basic fair trade of connection and human connection and being a connector.
Miss Lorraine, the title emphasizes authentic business relationships. Why is it authenticity is non-negotiable in your approach to connecting, and how does it lead to a better outcomes than transactional networking?
So, Daniel, this is a wonderful question. I think, first of all, the word authentic, it's a bit hard sometimes to describe. It's a big word, and people love to say, let's be authentic, let's be real, but it's not always easy, because we all have our masks, or maybe we feel uncomfortable around some people and some circumstances. But I do believe that when I say authentic relationship, the idea is to try to find, connect to myself, and truly find interest and connect with the other person in a specific moment. So authenticity is really, it's about approving. When I'm communicate with you, I want to approve my thoughts, approve my words, approve my actions when I'm around you. Let's take it the other way around. Sometimes we're next to people that we have to work with and we don't feel so comfortable with. So we need to acknowledge that as well, that hey, now I'm not authentic to them, but I do it because I have to. And usually when it's not authentic, it won't be, the relationship won't be as deep and good once it's authentic. So I definitely know that it only works when it's real, when I really care, when I really want to be there, when I really want to listen to someone. And to be honest, us as human beings, we usually don't need so much to feel good around people. What we look for other people is usually we look for their attention. We look to see that they respect us, that they are interested in us, that they care about us, that they want to help us. And once we create such environment to the people around us, that's what we will get back. And when I talk about how to achieve your goals, yeah, so the book connects to each of the reader would know how to achieve their goals. So it's about them, but it's not really about them. It's because when they give to others authentically and they choose who to give and who to support, then they will receive as well. And this is the foundation of business relationship. I didn't not invented networking. That's a human trait. That's a collaboration and support of one another and community and being social creatures. That's who we are. I just emphasized and even reminded people of how we can and we should do it through our natural traits and through some other AI tips and communication tactics. And that's what you'll find in the book.
Very well said, Miss Liron. Very well said indeed. How is it philosophy and practice outlining your playbook fundamentally different from traditional business networking advice?
Can you share that again? Sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
How is the philosophy and practice outlining your playbook fundamentally different from traditional business networking and advice?
Mm. So first of all, my book, as I said, I researched and I discussed and I talked with some of the best networking gurus. Dr. Ivan Meisner, who is an amazing person. He invented, created BNI, which is the biggest world business networking um, network around the world. Of course, there is the book How to Win Friends and Influence by Dale Carnegie and Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. So I actually grew up on these books. And when I created my methodology and taught it again in 26 countries with so many people, first of all, it was shaped over time. And I saw what different people, if it's employees, if it's managers, if it's students, if it's startup founders or business owners, I saw firsthand what they want and what they need when it comes to networking and personal branding. Alongside that, we are in 2025, AI is ruling the scene, and I also included AI within this book. So this book, on the one hand, gives us timeless knowledge and tactics, and on the other hand, it's really acclaimed for 2025, for this era of AI. And it differs because it's bringing a more modern approach and a more relevant approach to the business world as it is today.
Definitely. AI is the next breakthrough in the 21st century. If you had to distill the entire playbook down to one core principle or practice, what would it be?
To one core practice, it's about giving. Giving is the art of living. I think Anthony Robbins said it. But when
Yes,
you help enough people, and that would be the sentence, when you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. That's one of the most important thing I always do. I walk the talk and I say. And I also want to share a story with you that I also shared in the book. Back in the days, Benjamin Franklin in the USA, many years ago, it's he had a rival in the government, someone who really, really hated him and was always voting against him and so on. And he said, how can I make sure that he will be my friend? How I want him on my side. I can't stand it anymore. So he did this. He asked him for a book. He knew that he had a very big library and he asked him for a book, a certain book that he couldn't find anywhere else. And this rival said, okay, I'll give him a book. Now, what happens when we help other people and when you ask for someone else for a support or an advice? The other person usually convinces themselves that, hey, he gave him the book because he said, okay, I do like him a bit. I like him enough to give him a book. So he gave him the book, and then Benjamin Franklin read it, and then brought it back to him and shared with him his insights on the book. And then they started talking about the book, and from this point on, they started discussing about other topics. And slowly but surely, the relationship has shifted, and this rival became a really good friend of him. And the reason I say it, first of all, because we're in the book here, we're talking about books, but when you asked me what to distill my books. One is that if you help enough people get what they want, they will help you to get what you want. But the other thing is when you ask for advice, it's one of the best way to get people to want to help you willingly. So when Benjamin Franklin asked for the book, this person helped him and he convinced himself that he helped him because he likes him a bit. So when we ask people for advice, they usually want to help us, and usually they will help us more than we even imagine. There is a beautiful sentence that says, if you want money, ask for advice. If you want advice, ask for money. Let me say it again. If you want money, ask for advice. If you want
Yes.
advice, ask for money. So, asking
Awesome.
for advice and helping other people is a great way to make sure that we will give, but we'll also receive and fulfill ourselves.
Very well said again, Miss Liron. Beautifully, beautifully articulated.
Thank you.
As a global expert, speaker, and best-selling author on networking and personal branding, what are your short-term and long-term goals? Miss Liron, we want to apologize, people, because we are having a technical difficulties. We are too far behind. Miss Liron is from Germany and I'm from Canada. So bear with us while I'm waiting for her. I'm inviting you to please do again. Listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract poetry is in second season, and you can listen them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Jamie, can I want to apologize because I have a technical difficulties for my present interview right now. Can you come back after like 10 minutes,
Yes.
please? Miss Liran, so my question
Can
is,
you?
as a global expert, speaker, best-selling author on networking and personal branding, what are your short-term and long-term goals? Miss Liran,
Yeah.
did you hear my question?
I'm
Yes. We have a technical
I'm
difficulties
with
for
you.
sure. Yes. So, as a global expert, speaker, best-selling author on networking and personal branding, what are your short-term and long-term goals? Hello, that's Mike. Hello. I think Miss Leron Glickman is having a difficulties right now in our communication. I hope she can listen to me. You can hear me now, Miss Leron, or not? Hello, that's Mike. Hello. Hello, that's Mike. I think He's disconnected. So, people, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast. As usual, my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in its fifth season, and my law 101 and mental health 101 are my baby podcasts. And my love letters in third season, and movie 101 review and music 101 in its fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. And Miss Liran Glickman, for sure we will uh, continue this in a while. Just give us a minute while I'm waiting for her. So, Miss
Yes.
Liran, my last question is, uh, wait. Our live is not being
Is it
recorded right.
recording? I'm with you. Sorry, I'm here with
Yes.
5G. 5G should be the best, but we can
Definitely.
connect together. But if the technology won't connect us, it will be a problem.
Definitely. Yeah. So, Miss
I'm so
Liron,
sorry, but yeah.
no worries at all. No worries. So, as a global expert, speaker, best-selling author, and networking and personal branding, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
What are my, sorry?
What are your short-term and long-term goals?
My short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goal is actually to get short-term would be like an up to the end of the year would be to speak. I have 4 countries to do the speaking engagement and book launch. 4 continents and countries, I would say. Tel Aviv, Berlin, Bangkok, and USA. So it's almost 3 continents. So this is one goal to share the book and share the message of connecting to fulfill the goals and the methodology with so many people around the world. And then it's actually to get another book out there, probably 2 3 years. But still, for now, I work with startups and I help them build their brand and expand globally. And I work with organizations, Fortune 500 all over the world. So I want to have bigger stages and bigger impact. And yeah, and I'm happy.
Yes, bigger impact indeed. And Miss Liron, we are happy for you. We 100% support you and good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. What would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you, a connector?
So I want them to be like them. In the book, at the beginning of the book, I say that everything, all the methods I give, I want people to see how can it work for them, how can it work for your personality, for your culture, for your work, for your environment. I definitely give a lot of guidelines. So first of all, I think it's the base is to want to live a meaningful life. This book is for the dreamers and for the achievers and people who want to make sure that our time on earth is good for us, is on our own terms. And I just invite them to explore how can they be better communicators and how can they communicate and support others better. And again, the basic is really to understand what you want to achieve and help so many people along the way and also enjoy it. I have so many stories that through actually giving value to people. For example, I was in Berlin and I didn't know anyone a few years ago, and I shared what I can support, and I told a certain body, look, I can give you some overview over the startup scene. And in 2 weeks' time, I found myself giving a speech to the Austrian parliament. So sometimes when you wish to help people, they will get you to places that you never even imagined. So keep helping people, keep knowing what your goal is, and connect with authenticity and with intention. And
Definitely.
always ask for what you want. That's also very
Yes.
important. People usually
Ask
don't ask
what
for what they want.
Definitely ask what you want, people, and you will be given. And Miss Liron, can you share a book that influenced you, Johnny?
Yes, we can share. Where can they connect with me?
No, can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey as a global
Sorry,
expert?
definitely. So, how to win friends and influence by Dale Carnegie is a great
Yes.
book that it's the master book of this industry, and also a book called Cues by Vanessa Van Edwards. She's a human behavioral scientist, and she talks about how to really understand and see the little cues that we give when we communicate with people. It's a great manual, very practical book. So Cues by Vanessa Van Edwards.
Definitely highly recommended. People, please read them. For sure, you will be empowered. And what was the most surprising or discovery you made while researching or developing superconnector approach?
That's a great question. I developed it over 12 years. And I think the most interesting thing is, on the one hand, that the method, the six pillar method, it's plug and play. It's good for so many situations. It's good for online connection, online networking, someone I never met physically, but I'm communicating with them on LinkedIn or video. It's good for face to face. It's good if I'm going to conferences, I could use it. Also, there are AI tips, so I can use it with AI. If I'm looking for a job, if I'm looking for clients, maybe if I want to go up the corporate ladder. So the method is right for any goal and any circumstances and any type of person who want to achieve something: clients, job, promotion, and so on.
Definitely. And Ms. Liron, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101 Love Letters in its third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Miss Liron, if someone is inspired by your book and wants to start immediately, what's one concrete actionable step you recommend they take today to begin building more authentic strategic business relationships?
That's a great question. So, the first thing I would ask them to do is really look inside. Try to decode how they're creating relationships, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, where they have some anxiety or where it goes very easily for them. Once we understand how we create relationship, usually we don't ask those questions to ourselves, but once you decode how you build relationship, you know what you're doing better or what you can improve it at. So I always ask to understand, what am I doing, how do I do it, and then you are much more aware of the way you connect with people. And many times we found that so many people, it's interesting because so many people tell me, I'm such a bad networker and I'm so bad at it. And then I ask them, hey, when was the last time you asked a friend to lend you, I don't know, lend you their car or give you support in something or give you advice? And they said, oh, I did it yesterday. So you see, so you can do it. So many times people decrease their ability to connect with people. So once you kind of do an audit for yourself, understanding how you connect with people, you will come to any situation, any engagement, with much more confidence.
Definitely, Miss Liron Glickman. Thank you so much for sharing your super connectors
Thank you.
playbook to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your debut book itself? Miss Liron, where do people buy your book?
So thank you so much. My book is on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. There is an audio book as well. It will be on Audible very soon.
Awesome.
The audiobook is now on Barnes and Noble available. And if you go on my website after purchasing the book, you can add your information on my website as well, and you'll get the Connection Mastery Kit, which has the full workbook of the Super Connectors playbook, along with a few videos, a few master classes I gave on how to build relationship at conferences and business through relationship and so on.
Definitely. People, let's support Miss Liron Glickman because if you support her, for sure, more best-selling book to come or books to come, and for sure more empowering advocacy to come. So, Miss Liron, thank you so much for your time. More to come, people. See you soon.